In this video, I'm going to discuss C55 AMG ownership and the story of my C55, the car that I had before the E55. I'll cover everything that was done to the car and conclude if you should buy a C55 for yourself if you are interested. I got my C55 in January 2013. The car was a 2005 C55 in alabaster white on black Napa leather. This is a rare combo. Only 143 white C55s were ever built. The car also had the optional command navigation and xenon lights, making this C55 a very good spec overall. It also had a genuine CLK facelift grille, which fits directly to the C55's CLK derived front end. The exhaust resonator on this car was also deleted. When I got the car, it had 117,000 kilometers, which is just over 70,000 miles. It was a two-owner car. The car was never in an accident, but had a few vandalism claims on it. I found it at a Mazda dealership where it was sitting for at least 6 months. Their price was hovering around 27,000 Canadian dollars, then 25,000 Canadian dollars for a while, and then the price finally lowered to 21,000 around the time when I went to look at the car. I suspected that the dealer was driving the car around for personal use, since the kilometers went up a few thousand over the 6 months that they had this car. When I took the car for a test drive, the car was good, but it was making groaning noises, especially when turning the steering wheel. I also inspected it on their lift. It was clean and straight, with just surface corrosion on the exhaust. So I was interested. So I thought the car was good and asked them what their lowest price was. They came back with 19,000. I told them that it might have a power steering pump issue, which could be expensive to fix, and I offered them 18,000, and they accepted. Upon driving the car home, the car showed a low oil level warning light on the dashboard. Once home, the oil level was topped up, but this C55 proceeded to burn oil. I believe it burned about 1 liter every 5,000 kilometers, about 3,000 miles. My E55 AMG, for comparison, burns nothing. For the power steering issue, it turns out the car only needed the power steering reservoir to be filled up with fluid. Once that was done, this power steering was never a problem for this car again. So I started fixing up the car by repairing the cracked bumper and replacing that cracked fog light, and I also replaced the top part of the shift lever because it was worn out. The car ran pretty well overall and gave no problems for the whole time I owned it. I changed the engine oil in February 2013, and the next year, I changed the engine oil, transmission fluid, and differential fluid in February 2014. I also changed the rear brake pads and rotors. On the C55, I replaced the alarm siren in March 2014. This is a common issue for all Mercedes. In April 2014, I replaced the hood pad, the hood insulation, as it was damaged from the heat. It was tearing on the edges. In July 2014, I replaced the valve cover gaskets and resealed the breather covers. This again is a common issue for these Mercedes of the era with the M113 engine. It's more of a cosmetic fix just to make the engine look dry, not really a serious oiling. Also in July 2014, I replaced the front control arm bushings. Upon braking, they would cause the front end to thump. Going over hard bumps would also cause the front end to thump, so that solved that issue. And by this time, the C55 was pretty well sorted and it drove very well. And in September 2014, the car was totaled in an accident at 142,000 kilometers, not at fault, and I bought the E55. So just under 2 years of ownership and 25,000 kilometers with the C55. Should you buy a C55? Yes, super reliable, no superchargers or air suspension or anything complicated to worry about. Not much can go wrong with the C55. It also drives very well and has surprisingly precise steering and good handling response for a Mercedes of this era. It's a fun car to drive for sure, and they seem to be super cheap on the used markets despite their rarity. So if you're looking for a sporty sedan and you're on a budget, I think the C55 is definitely a good small sedan for you. Thanks for watching, and if you like videos like this, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.